Hi everybody, welcome back to Keeping It Real with Marilyn and Steve. And today we went out and did our first harvest of our oregano, our first big harvest. And today we are going to compare what it turns out like when you dehydrate it versus when you freeze dry it. So let me show you what we've got going on before we get them in the machines. We've prepared 9 trays to go into our dehydrator, and we have 5 trays ready to go into our freeze dryer. Now for us, we've been freeze drying more than we've been dehydrating, but we have so much oregano to do. I just want to get it all done at once, and I figured this would be a great time to compare the two side by side as they're getting done. So I'm putting the last tray into the dehydrator. And as you can see, sometimes you gotta press things down a little bit to get it in. I'm gonna close this up. Make sure the front's closed. And I'm gonna put this on the herb setting, which is 95 degrees. And then we'll come back and check on it in a few hours. Now let's get our freeze dryer trays ready to take and put into the freeze dryer. So getting the last tray into the freeze dryer, we'll get this closed up and get that going, and we'll come back and check on that in a little while. So we're back with our oregano all dried. Now we have our dehydrated here and our freeze dried here. If you remember, we started with 5 trays in the freeze dryer and 9 trays in the dehydrator. As you can see, what went into the dehydrator shrank up more than what went into the freeze dryer. Another difference is the color. The ones in the dehydrator are a little more brown. The ones from the freeze dryer kept more of the dark green color. Now, I know these are both fully dry, and I'm gonna have Steve get up close on this, and hopefully you'll hear it. Because they snap and they crumble. So if they still had flexibility or bent, I would know those weren't done. Now with the freeze dryer, it's the same thing. They snap and they crumble. So we know both of these are fully dry. One of the big reasons why we are freeze drying more than we're dehydrating is because of the nutrition. Now on most things that you dehydrate, you're going to end up with 60 to 75% of the nutritional value will be left once it's been dehydrated. On freeze-dried items, about 97% of the nutritional value is still intact when your freeze drying is done. I know not everybody has a freeze dryer or feels they want to do the investment of a freeze dryer. For us, it just made complete sense because we have so much that we preserve ourselves. But you can also dehydrate, and dehydrators are very inexpensive, and we'll leave links for both in the description. So let me get these off the stems and ready to get put into some jars, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. And this is the last one for the dehydrated. So the dehydrated is done. And now to move on to get the freeze-dried done. So I finished with the freeze-dried oregano, and you may have wondered why I waited to take the leaves off the stems after they were either freeze-dried or dehydrated. And I do that because I don't end up with my fingers all black from the oils of the oregano, and it comes off for me easier. So let me get this all crushed up into some jars, and then I'll be back in a few minutes. So I have my jars already. We have our pile of freeze-dried and our pile of dehydrated. Now we had broken this into like 50% each way. You can see that the pile of the freeze-dried is bigger than the pile of the dehydrated, and you can kind of see why. The size that the leaves come out at the end definitely Let me move that one out of the way. Definitely is different. They shrink down a lot more in the dehydrator. The color is definitely a bit different. But we're going to get these all crushed down into jars. And then some of those jars we'll be keeping for ourselves. Some will be gifts for others. And oregano is a staple in our house. So let me get these crushed down and in the jars, and we'll be right back. So we ended up with a total of about 4 jars. These will get sealed and put into our pantry, and we're super excited that we've got a beginning on our garden season for this year, and can't wait to see what else we get to harvest and preserve. So follow along with us to see how our garden season goes, and wishing you an awesome garden season yourselves. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos and want to help us out, please like this video and subscribe. If you know someone who would like our videos, make sure to share, as this really helps our channel out. Again, thanks, and see you soon.